Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Happy sunny day. Hope everybody's doing the best that they can out there. So, I just wanted to chat for a couple minutes before we get started with our mat-based yoga. And the topic I wanted to talk about this morning is taking the middle path. So, those of you who know me and are students of me know that I often will bring this up throughout the course of our practices. And taking the middle path is actually a Buddhist practice. So, basically, it's about finding balance between two extremes. So, those extremes are happening right now in our world, and there seems to be a lot of division between should we continue to practice staying at home or should we start opening things up? And there actually seems to be a lot of protests and even some angry division going on right now. And I think if we would travel back in time and listen to Buddha, he would tell us to try to find the middle path. Now, I'm not an expert and I'm not saying that I know what the middle path is, but I think that unity is better than division. So maybe we can try and listen to the experts and hopefully find that middle path, and maybe even just look at what is the middle path for you. And no matter what rulings come down, kind of listening to your own gut instinct about following that middle path. So I am ready for some yoga, so I hope you all are. It's going to be a mat-based practice, but you can still be in a chair and do a lot of the things that we're doing. And if you've been with me before, you can kind of modify to make the practice your own. So here we go, heading back to my mat. So today we are going to start on our backs. So go ahead and just find a spot on your mat and start to settle back. If you're in a chair, just sit upright in a good mountain position in your chair. If you're here with me on the earth, we'll just let our shoulders roll down and back. Open our hearts to that sunshine out there in the sky. Maybe you'd like to close your eyes and release your jaw. And just start to take a few deep breaths in and out. Let your back body start grounding you to the earth. We'll try and close the door on that outside world. And for now, just focus on our practice here on our mats, listening to our bodies, doing what makes our bodies feel well and happy. Do a little check-in and see how you're feeling physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Remembering that yoga is about our whole being, not just the physical body. Connecting all aspects of your being together as one, finding that sense of unity. honoring yourself for taking the time out for this practice. And maybe just setting an intention of peace and understanding. I'd like to start our practice with a practice that I learned in my first 200-hour yoga training called imprinting. And then I learned it again in my 1,000-hour yoga therapy training. And in that practice, they called it flatten to neutral. So we begin this practice with our knees bent and our feet grounded. So join me there if your legs are long. And then all you need to do is press your low back into the earth like you're making an imprint. And then let it relax. So let the low back lift away, but just a little bit, just into your natural curve. So on an exhale, imprint again, press your low back, flatten it down into the mat. And then on your inhalation, allow it to rise again. Exhale again, pressing the low back into the earth. And inhale, just coming to relax in a neutral spine. Do a couple more. As you're breathing out, press the low back into the mat. As you inhale, let the abdomen rise and expand. One more. Exhale as you imprint. And inhale as you let it come back to neutral. Now, we're going to use that little piece of imprinting to take us into our bridge pose, because that helps us to contract our abdominals as we're rising into the bridge. So we're going to ground our feet into the mat, and with an in-breath, we'll imprint first, and then slowly start to rise up into our bridge from that imprint. On our out-breath, we'll gently come down the spine, vertebrae by vertebrae, back to just a natural, neutral spine. So there should be a small gap between your low back and the mat when you're in neutral. Let's try again. Start to press your low back into the mat imprint, and then from that point, inhale and rise into bridge. Exhale, release the spine, come to neutral. So there's a small curve in your low back right now. One more on the out breath, imprint your low back, and then ground through the feet. Inhale, lift those hips, come up the spine. And exhale, slowly release. Awesome. Let's go ahead, bring those knees up towards your heart and just give yourself a little bit of rocking motion back and forth. We're going to stay on our backs for just a little bit longer and warm up our hips. So when you're done rocking, you can plant one foot at a time back down on the mat. What we're going to do from here is bring our right knee up and in, and then just start to draw circles with that right leg. So you're getting into that hip joint. And then as you're ready, go ahead and draw circles the other direction. complete this leg, you can take that foot and ankle and set it up on top of or kind of in front of the left knee. So we're in our reclined pigeon right now. Now, if this feels like a good stretch for your hip, feel free to stay here. Otherwise, you could start to lift that leg position in toward you and hold on here. You could hold on back behind that left thigh. Anything that feels good for you. Now, if you wanted to, you could even start to draw some circles here in this reclined pigeon. And maybe go the other way. And then hold that pigeon in just a little bit longer. And then we'll lower the leg and uncross. Oh, yeah. Let's check out the other hip. So bringing the left knee in and just starting first with those circles. Now you could be holding on to the left leg and kind of guiding it. Or you could be freestyling like I am. Change directions. Of course, if you're sitting in a chair, you can do these hip circles just the way that I am. And then, like first side, we're going to bring that foot and ankle and rest it up either in front of or on top of that opposite knee. If you like, begin to lift that position toward you and hold on wherever you like. Now you can just keep holding, or like we did on the first side, if you want to play with drawing some circles, go ahead. Notice how you're working your core a little bit here as you're drawing some circles. And let's go the other way. Bring this one in for a brief hold. And then we'll lower and plant the right foot and uncross. Let's bring our knees to the chest again. Go ahead, rock it out some more. And then eventually roll to one side. And we'll start to bring ourselves up. We're going to find a position in seated called Sukhasana. So that's just a cross-legged position. And I know that for some of us, it's often nice to prop up our sitting bones under our blanket. So if you have a blanket or maybe a towel handy and you want to sit upright on those sitting bones, you can kind of tuck a little bit of a prop underneath for yourself. So we're going to start getting into the shoulders and also the torso. Let's have our arms just released at the sides. And on an in-breath, we'll angel those arms up. Now, we're going to exhale and rotate to the right, letting one hand and arm kind of reach front and one reach behind. On your in-breath, bring the arms all the way back up to the top again. On the out-breath, let's rotate to the left. Keep this going. Inhale, working with breath and movement. Exhale, right rotation. Inhale, we're back up again. Exhale, we're going left. Inhale, up one more on each side. Exhale. Inhale, up. And exhale. Inhale to the top. Let your hands unite And exhale. Let's bring it down to our hearts and tuck our chins. Release the hands and arms, keeping the chin tucked, and gently roll the head from ear to ear, nice and easy. Coming down through that center point each time. Never forcing or pushing anything. Listening to your body. Just enjoying this nice head neck stretch. Try to keep your shoulders down and relaxed while you're doing this. And then let's go ahead and land with that chin down toward the chest. And then we'll bring the head to neutral and find a smile. So before we continue, I'm just gonna do a brief check-in and see who's joining us. Jessa Robinson, Kathy Robinson, Jamie Anderson, Maria Olson, Vicky Probowski, Rogine, Julie, Stefani, and Tammy Sear. Hi, everybody. Good morning. So glad you could be with me. So let's move from that seated pose to table position. Once you arrive, draw some circles in that table. We're warming our bodies up, getting in to all our joints here as we circle things around. Let's go the other way. And then landing back up in table. So if you were in chair, you could have been doing some torso circles. I bet you were if you were in your chair, because you guys know this stuff. We're going to move into lunge now. So taking our right foot and leg, bringing it up forward. Use your hands if you need to haul that leg up there, no worries. And then double check and make sure your knee is right above your ankle in a stacked position. Now, if any of you out there have blocks and you like to use your blocks in your lunge pose, you could have your hands sitting on some blocks. We're going to build in a rotation here, keeping your left hand grounded. We're going to rotate right by just bringing the hand to the hip first. And then if you like, extending the arm up. Hello, hello, peace to you all. Peace and understanding, our intention for today. Hand to the hip and coming back down. All right. So from our lunge, let's see if we can find plank. Step it back. Now I know plank is challenging, so I like to modify on my knees just to take care of my shoulders. But some of you might be able to stay up off your knees. Listen to your body. And then let's take it to the earth. Keep your core engaged. Untuck your toes. And inhale, gently rising for your first cobra. You don't have to go real high. Keep your elbows tucked in. And then breathe out as you bring it back to the mat. Let's inhale up to our table. And then how about exhale back? Pose of the child, hips drawing back, bowing forward. Inhale, come on up to table, and we're going to take the lunge on our second side. So the left leg's coming up and through. Now, you can choose in your lunge to keep the knee down or keep the knee up. So I'll do the second one with my knee up just as a demonstration. So the right hand is grounded. This time the left hand comes to the hip. It can stay there, or we can reach up and maybe look up, feeling the rotation. And then working it back, hand to hip, and back down to the earth. We're going to find plank again, so left leg extends back. Our shoulders are over our wrists. Feel free to take knees down if you like, and exhale as we release to the mat again. Untuck the toes, let the crown of your head reach forward. Keep the spine long as you come up for that cobra. Exhale, release. Inhale, coming to table. And exhale again, sitting all the way back for that pose of the child. Let's inhale and come back to table. Now we're going to exhale, tuck the toes, and find our first downward facing dog of the day. So let's let those heels reach back. And if you like, maybe do a little bit of pedaling the feet. So we're alternating, lifting one heel as we release the other. And then allowing both heels to reach back. Walking the feet up toward the hands, coming into a forward bend. Maybe you're in a half forward bend. Maybe you're down low or somewhere in between there. Let's root through our feet and inhale as we rise up, creating this beautiful sunny day. Let your hands unite. Exhale, bringing that peace and understanding down into your heart center. From our mountain pose, let's inhale, upward arms. On the exhale, we're going to sink into our chair pose. On the in-breath, we're going to reach for our knees or our shins and come into half forward fold. On the exhale, go deeper if you like into your fold, Uttanasana. On the in-breath, root through the feet, rise up again, reach for the sky. On the exhale, let's sink into another chair pose, Utkatasana. On the inhale, half fold, reaching for shins or knees. And on the exhale, perhaps taking your fold a little bit deeper. Let's do that one more time. Inhale all the way up. Chair is our exhalation in those namaste hands. The inhale is your half forward fold. And the exhale is coming down to whatever your full fold might be at this moment. Try and let your head and neck release. And then inhale all the way back up to the top. And exhale, land at your heart. Okay, so we're up near the top of the mat and we are getting ready to move into some standing work now. So we're going to kick it off with Warrior One. So we'll keep our shoulders and hips squared to the short edge of the mat as we let our right leg travel back. Now, our shoulders and hips are pretty much squared off to the front. Your back foot is going to be rotated out a little, but the difference between Warrior One and Warrior Two is if I were to take my right hip and open it up, Now my hips and shoulders are more open toward the long edge, whereas in Warrior One, I'm rotating my hips so that they're more squared toward the front. Now, one more thing to think about is besides the distance you've created, you want some width between your feet, almost as if your feet are on cross-country ski tracks. So there needs to be a distance between the feet width-wise. All right, so foundation is important. Let's inhale, reach for the sky, bend your front knee, and now that knee, look down, it's right over your ankle. On an out breath, we'll drop it into cactus arms so the elbows are bent. Then on the inhale, we'll extend the arms out nice and long. On the exhale, we're going to cross the right arm on top of the left and make the letter X. As we bend at the elbows, the right elbow nests inside the left, and we're coming into what they call eagle arms. Now, let's make sure that we have good foundation through legs, lower body, our shoulders are relaxed. And then, if it's available to you, start to turn your head to look toward the right. Watch your balance. Go ahead, come back to center, and then slowly turn your head left and back to center. We're going to release the eagle arms, and we're going to start to shift the weight forward into our front leg as, I got to scoot back a little, as we come into perhaps a warrior three. Now, if you want to keep your back toe touching for balance, that's fine. Or if you're feeling stable and secure, you can lift that leg. And just do the best you can, no judgment. And then slowly start to lower that leg, but then we're going to change the foundation. So we're going to walk that leg back a little further maybe, and we are going to open the hip like I just showed you. So rotate your right hip, knee, leg, foot open to the side. We're going to bend the front knee again so it's over the ankle. Now, your torso should be right in between your two legs, so you're not leaning forward when you come in to your warrior two. And then we'll just bring those arms out. Now, if your shoulders are crabby and you want to leave the arms out, go for it. Remember that this is your practice. Now, if you're joining me with arms, we're going to do a little bit of shoulder rotation. So on an in-breath, the palms face me and your thumbs are pointing up to the sky. Then rotate through the shoulders so that the thumbs are down and the palms are facing the other way. Inhale, rotate your thumbs up. Exhale, down. Inhale, up. And exhale, down. Inhale up, stay here. Straighten the front leg, but try not to lock your knee. So a locked knee would be letting it press all the way down and back, and that's hard on your knee. So keep that front knee a little bit bent, and we're going to tip laterally into triangle. So your left hand and arm is coming down toward the left leg, and your right arm is reaching up toward the sky. So some people think in triangle that they should reach for the floor, and then their head is jutting forward and their butt is jutting back. Instead, think about being kind of squeezed between two panes of glass, flat as a pancake. Hey, that was the name of an album, I think, right? Was that REO Speedwagon, Flat as a Pancake? Or no? No, probably not. You can tune a piano, but you can't tune a fish. I know that one. Let's inhale and reverse it. Oh yeah, reverse triangle. Reaching up now through the left hand and arm. Let's release and rotate to face the long edge. So if you're wondering how far apart should my feet and legs be, Well, you could bring your arms out and do a little measurement so that your hands are kind of over your feet or your wrists are kind of over your ankles. Now, with an out breath, let's come into goddess squat and namaste hands. Hinge forward from your hips, bend those knees. On an inhale, open your hearts. On the out breath, come on back in. On the in breath, open. Exhale, come on in, stay with me. Maybe let your hands come down and rest on those thighs. How about elbows and forearms? And then from here, let's move into the wide-legged fold. Maybe you're reaching for the floor. You're starting to straighten your legs more now. Maybe let the head neck release. Take some breaths. Now we'll take this wide-legged forward fold into a lunge by walking up to the top to the left, rotating our feet and legs on the way. And then we're going to let the back knee come down, untuck the toes. And we're going to rock or walk back with our hands. Now this one's a little tricky, so do the best you can. And your left front leg is kind of straight. And you're sitting back as far as you comfortably can, and then maybe even hinging forward a little bit. Feeling good for me. Awesome. Let's walk it back up to the top lunge, but when you come up, walk it a little further forward than you normally would. So instead of that front knee being over the ankle, maybe it's coming over the toes. You're feeling a good stretch in your inner thigh groin, plus up the front of that right hip. So while we're holding this, I just want to thank those of you who have kindly been sending me some donations. I really appreciate it. Kind of helping me get through this weird, strange time we're going through here. And then let's walk this back into just traditional lunge. Maybe tuck the back toes, lift the knee, and take it to plank. Now, once you've arrived, remember, it's always your choice if you want to keep the knees up or bring the knees down. Let's exhale and make our way to the mat. Stay here. Untuck your toes. Let your arms reach back. We're going to do half locust, upper half only. Inhale, letting your shoulders, chest, arms and hands, and of course your head, rise up off the mat, reaching your fingers back, rolling the shoulders back as well. And then exhale, bring it to the mat. Inhale, upper body, half locust, lift and open. Exhale, lower. One more. Inhale, rising. And exhale, release. Sweeping the arms and hands back around and coming up to your table and gliding all the way back into a child pose. On an in breath, we're coming up to table, and on the out breath, it's a downward dog. If you still want to pedal your feet a little bit, go ahead. And then let's take our dog for a walk, walking the feet up to the hands. Here's our forward bend. With an in-breath, we're taking it to the top. And with the out-breath, we're landing back into Tadasana. All right, so we're going to take it from the top with the warrior one. I'm going to switch sides just so that I can be facing you more instead of the wall. So we're switching legs now. The lead leg is the left leg. We're setting up our foundation. And like I said on side one, we're keeping our shoulders and hips squared toward the front of the mat. Let's breathe in as we reach upward arms and hands, stacking the front knee over the ankle. On the out breath, coming into cactus. So cactus looks like this. Then inhale, extend the arms out long. On the exhale, this time we'll cross the left arm on top of the right. We'll bend at those elbows and find that eagle again. While we're here, slowly turn the head to the right. Bring the head back to center and look left. Hello. Come back to the front. Awesome. Starting to release our eagle. And again, if you like, shifting the weight into the front leg, maybe just coming to your left big toe and balancing here. If you feel like playing with warrior three, we're hinging from the hips. Our spine is long. And then we'll start to let the back leg release. And we're going to walk that foot back probably a little further. Open that left hip, knee, foot. Maybe do a little measure. Arm my wrists over my ankles. Coming into warrior two on side two, stacking that front knee. And then turning the thumbs up. Let's exhale and rotate through the shoulders so that the thumbs are down. So this isn't just our hands. Inhale, rotate through the shoulders, thumbs up like Fonzie. So I'm really dating myself now, I know. Let's exhale, thumbs down. And inhale, thumbs up. Awesome. Starting to straighten the front leg, keep the knees soft, and on an out breath, we'll tip into the right hip, the right hand and arm reaching down, maybe holding on somewhere to the leg if you like, and then that left arm reaching up. The spine is long, and remember, we're flat as a pancake. Big inhale, reverse triangle. Let's exhale, release. Rotate the right leg. We're facing the long edge. Your toes are turned out just a little bit, not a real lot. And we're going to practice our goddess squat one more time. So on an in-breath, we're going to open our hearts. And on an out-breath, we're coming in. Namaste. Inhale, let's open again. Exhale, squat. Inhale, open. And exhale, squat and hold. Just like on the first side, maybe hands kind of come to thighs. Maybe hinge from the hips and get those forearms or elbows on the thighs. And then working into your wide-legged fold, perhaps trying to straighten your legs a little bit more. Take a couple breaths here in this fold. And then we will rotate. So I am traveling so that my right leg is in the front and the left leg is in the back, which is where you should be as well. And then knee coming down, untucking the toes. So that as we start to travel back, you're on the opposite side that you were from the first time. So we're walking back, hinging our hips, and then if you desire, folding forward a bit. All right, walk it up. Walk a little bit past so the knee comes over the toes versus the ankle. Take a breath here. Here's my cute froggy. Ribbit, ribbit. Have you been enjoying the frogs? Listening to the frogs? Good froggy. Coming back to neutral lunge, knee over ankle, tuck the back toes. We are going to find our last plank, leg back, knees up or down, yogi's choice, and taking it to the mat. Breathe in, rise and shine, cobra pose. Breathe out and release. Let's stay here and prop up on our elbows and forearms. So we are now in the Sphinx. We are going to tuck our toes, draw our navel up to our spine, and lift our hips and our belly away from the mat. So we are in a modified dolphin plank. Now, if you would like, you could keep engaging that core and lift the knees. So this is a full dolphin plank. If you are happier with knees down, go back. Otherwise, let's try and take a few more breaths here, holding one of those two dolphin planks. And then from wherever you're at, we'll meet back in our Sphinx pose. Letting the chest and head start to lower, bringing the hands outside of your chest. We'll press up to our table and sit all the way back into a child pose. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Todd, Mary, Kathy Dietz, Jane Alwyn, Trey, Roslyn, and Lori Johnson. Hello. All right, coming up from child pose into table, we're going to do a little bit of strength work here, but I'm going to give you two options. So the modified option will be bringing your knee toward your chest and then extending the leg back, kind of press out through your heel. So this is modified. Now, the second option, which is the one I'm going to be doing, would be coming into down dog instead of table, and we'll be doing the same thing. So choose either table or down dog. We'll bring our right knee toward our chest, and then for the down dog one, we're bringing it up to a split dog. Then we'll exhale, bring that knee in again. Inhale, up toward the sky. Exhale, knee to chest. Inhale, split dog. One more, bringing it in as you breathe out and taking it up as you breathe in. Stay here, even if you're in table, and bend your knee, and then rotate that right hip open. Bring that leg back up or behind you if you're in table, and then all the way back down into your downward dog. We'll take a brief respite. So if you're in dog, we're coming to table. If you're in table, we're coming to child. Everybody here now. All right. Let's come back to table. So we'll do our left side. If you're doing it from table, stay here. If you're doing it from down dog, come on up and in. We'll bring our left knee toward the chest and then up into a split dog or just up and behind. Exhale, come in, you'll shift forward a bit. And inhale, back up. Exhale and inhale. One more. Bring it in and up. Stay here, bend the knee, rotate the left hip open, maybe look left. Take it back up. And then we're coming back to down dog or just table. Back down to table if you're in dog. And pose of the child. Let's go ahead, come on up. And we are going to have a seat in Sukhasana again. You might remember that we did that one in the beginning of our class. So I'm going to grab a drink. And if you're one of those people that likes to sit on your blanket in this position, go ahead, grab it. So notice which way you've chosen to sit. Is your left leg on the inside or your right leg on the inside? Because we're going to do everything one way and then we're going to switch. So let's start by rotating to face our right leg. And then all we're going to do is, using our hands and arms to brace us, we're going to hinge from our hips and start to come forward over that right leg. And just take some breaths. So primarily we're stretching those hips. So while we're over to the right, think of grounding through your left sitting bone so that you're not popping up off the floor. Yeah? Good. Walk up from the first side, meet at center. And then rotate, we'll face that left leg. Same thing. So as I'm coming over my left, I'm making sure to ground through my right sits bone. So you'll feel a little opposition because you're hinging one direction, but you're grounding the other way. Let's go ahead, come on up, rotate back to facing front. Now we'll do it from front position. So hands and arms reach front, and no worries, no judgment, just come into it to whatever's comfortable. But now, guess what? We're grounding through both of our sitting bones back there so that we're not tipping up off of them. So ground through sits bones, hinge from hips, and kind of bow forward. Peace and understanding. Staying with our intention. And coming up. All right, so maybe your knees were getting a little uncomfortable. So before we do our second side, we'll take both legs out long in front. And this position is called Dandasana. So if you like, you can kind of press your heels forward and curl your toes up and in, and you'll feel a little more stretch. Now, if we keep the backs of our knees pressing down, which we'll do for this first stretch, we're going to be getting into our hamstrings. So let's start to hinge forward. Take some breaths. Remember not to push or force. This one's feeling especially good for me today. Let's start to come up. All right, so we're coming back to Sukhasana. So remember, if you had your left leg on the inside, switch it to your right leg being the one on the inside, because you actually should notice a difference in these stretches when we switch the way we're sitting. So we're going to start again rotating through our torso to the right. And then as we ground through our left sitting bone back there, we're hinging over our right leg. Slowly coming up from side one, rotate back to center, and then go ahead and switch sides. So as we're coming over the left leg, we're grounding through our right sitting bone. Let's go ahead. Come on back. And we're back at front. So we've got one left here. Hands are in front. Ground through your sitting bones back there. And bow forward. So I'm wondering if you noticed a difference after you switched your Sukhasana. Let's come up. So for me, I notice that these stretches, all three of them, are easier when my right leg is the one on the inside. So I'm guessing that some of you probably noticed the same thing, but maybe it was your left leg. Let's go back to Dandasana one more time just to give those knees a little stretch. This time, while we're in the stretch, let's pick up the knees a little bit away from the earth so that there's a gap between the back of your knees and the floor. We're going to do the same stretch, and as you come forward, I want you to notice where you think you're feeling it now compared to when we were pressing the backs of the knees down to the floor. Slowly start to come up. So for most of us, when we switched if the knees were up or down, in this last stretch where they were lifted, you probably felt more of a stretch in the low back. So I kind of like that one when I'm really trying to get into my low back. All right, we are going to go back to supine, which was where we started our practice on our backs. So let's go ahead and go there. We are going to lie down. And I'd like your knees to be bent, your feet to be grounded. And then once you've arrived there, walk the feet apart about as wide as the width of your mat, and we'll open the arms. We're going to move into our windshield wipers. So allow your legs to release over to the right and let your head roll to the left. Take an inhale, come back to neutral where we started, and then let your legs release left and your head right. Feel free to adjust your feet and legs so that as you're releasing, you can release comfortably. And then inhale, head to neutral, legs back to start. Exhale, legs right, head left. Inhale, come on back to neutral, head to. Exhale, legs left, head right. Inhale, center. We'll do one more on each side. Exhale, legs right, head left. Inhale, center. And exhale, legs left, head right. And inhale, center. Walking the feet and legs a little bit closer together. Let's go ahead and bring the knees up and into our chest. Hug them in. And then holding on to your knees, open the legs apart. Slide the hands behind the thighs or knees and open up into your happy baby. So in happy baby, we want our knees coming kind of down toward our side ribs and our feet looking up at the sky. Now you can keep holding on here behind the thighs, or you could hold on to your calves. Maybe you can reach up for your feet, but try to keep your shoulders grounded down toward the floor. And then if you want to be a little playful, sometimes I like to rock my happy baby from side to side. And then go ahead, land back at center if you've been rocking. Close up the happy baby. Bring the knees toward your chest. Let's hold on to our kneecaps and draw some circles up on the ceiling. Getting a little bit of a massage here. And then go ahead, circle the other way. Hug those knees into you, and then plant one foot at a time on the earth. So from here, we'll take a brief Shavasana, a little bit of rest time before our closure. If you like, you can keep your knees bent. Otherwise, sometimes it's nice to let the legs extend out long, kind of create a little space between the legs, let the feet fall open. Maybe the palms of your hands are facing the sky. Your eyes are closed. We'll let our facial expressions soften, release the jaw. Start to feel all the parts of your back body that are connecting to your mat release and melt into the earth. Let your muscles soften. Come into your breath. On the in-breath, you feel your body expanding as it fills with air. And on the exhale, you feel that release, that surrender as the air empties out. With each breath, allow your back body to ground and release into Mother Earth a little bit deeper. Muscles continuing to relax. Scan your body from the top of the head to the tips of the toes, letting everything release, a complete surrendering. Surrendering to the breath. Letting the breath guide you to a place of peace and understanding. Let's wiggle our fingers. Wiggle our toes. Maybe roll your ankles and your wrists around in some circular motions. Sliding the feet and legs perhaps closer together. Taking a big in-breath, reaching your arms overhead. Exhale, bringing your arms back. If your legs are long, sliding those feet in. Maybe you'd like to give yourself one more hug, bringing those knees to the chest. Rock a little. Eyes are opening. And then rolling to your side and very mindfully taking your time, starting to come on up. I'm going to come in a little closer. So I hope you all enjoyed your morning practice. I wanted to wish everyone a happy Mother's Day. I know it's a few days early, but I probably won't be live again until after Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day to everyone out there. And maybe think of some of the gifts that your mothers passed on to you. So one of the gifts that my mom passed on to me was my smile, and I'd like to thank her for that because she always has a smiling face and a positive attitude even when things are tough. So I like to share that gift with all of you. So again, let's end this by bringing our hands together and thanking all of our moms for bringing us into this world and maybe remembering the gifts that they gave to you. Namaste. And sending you all love and light. Bye-bye.